start the session. We would like to specially thank our President, Mr. T.R. Parshuram, who is also the President and whole-time Director of Toyota Industries Engine Private Limited, and also Ms. Ira Lal, Member of the Management Committee of BCIC and Director of Time and Cash, for curating this session for the benefit of our members. On behalf of the BCIC and the office bearers, we would express our sincere thanks to Mr. Ravi Gilani for accepting our invitation to address on this important subject. We would also like to thank all the participants for joining in today's session. We request all of you to kindly mute your mic and webcam option. This is to enhance and keep the bandwidth strong, as well as avoid any disturbance in the background. Please post your questions in the chat box only. The speakers will respond to the question during the session. And also you could raise your hand in case you like to ask a question. May I now invite our President, Mr. T.R. Parshuram, to do the welcome address and set the session forward. Thanking you all once again to all of you. Over to you, President.
Thank you, Mr. Prithvi. Very good evening to all ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you all to this very, very interesting and value-adding session by Shri Ravi Gilani, Founder and Managing Consultant, Goldratt India, who is also globally renowned as the foremost expert in cash constraint and helps companies to improve cash dramatically in a few weeks. But all of us know the importance of cash. Cash is the king, especially when the pandemic hit us very hard. Many companies closed down. They could not sustain. I know the kind of stories of several companies across the supply chain in our nation, across the globe. They could not manage the cash and they had to literally close down. I think when we say cash is the king, I think necessity is the mother of invention. I think only when you touch the iron, you realize it is hot. So normally, the companies don't recognize that kind of adjusting because when the problems are all completely covered, you don't see the problems. So only when you unearth, then you start seeing the problems. So we had several changing points happened in this nation. GST demonetization and several economic changes across the globe because due to the pandemic, wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, some countries have been going through wave 4. Therefore, people have realized the importance of cash flow. In fact, I recollect several Fortune 500 companies which existed more than 500 before the last century. They closed down because many of them closed down because they could not manage the cash. And the organizations could not see where the problem is. I think the biggest challenge was they could not visualize the depth of problem nor the prioritized problem. I think in Toyota we have a A3 paper where even $1 billion investment is made in a single A3 paper at the end of the day. I think it's very, very important to understand, visualize, then take countermeasures. I think same thing is cash. I think how to take care of the low-hanging fruits and how to look at the potential fruitful activities which would bring in result. As rightly said by Sri Ravi Gilani, I think many processes are in place, but a process without a result is like a flower without fragrance. He put it very, very categorically in the beginning of the discussion. Therefore, I don't want to take much of your time. I would briefly give a brief introduction of the speaker, who normally don't need any introduction. He's a renowned, world-renowned speaker. Shri Ravi Gilani, the founder and managing consultant of Goldratt India, globally renowned as a foremost expert in the cash constraint and helps companies to improve their cash flow dramatically in a few weeks, as I said. Shri Ravi introduced the theory of constraints to Indian companies in 1998. He is the only Indian to receive the Lifetime Achievement Award from Tokiko for his contribution to the industry. Prior to founding Goldratt India, Mr. Ravi was the chief consultant at ECS Limited, formerly Aisher Consultancy Group, consultancy services. During his consulting career of over 25 years, Mr. Ravi has consulted for several Indian and transnational organizations such as L&T, Godrej and Bios, Aisha, Sona, Okegawa, Alston, Jindal Steel and Power, Paharpur Cooling Towers, ABB, Tata, Boeing, Tata Advanced Materials, Thomson Press, etc. Several organizations, to name a few. Before starting his consulting career, Mr. Ravi gained valuable hands-on experience for 21 years in experience in the automobile industry, the Tata Motors and Eicher. Mr. Ravi is an alumnus of IIT Delhi. He enjoys striving for the impossible by challenging sacred assumptions and simplifying complexity. In addition to consulting assignments, he enjoys sharing his vast experience in Indian industry as a keynote speaker and through his workshops. He is an internationally sought after speaker and he presented case studies at several international forums and industry bodies such as YPO, Elegant, Singapore, PHDCCL, CI, IEEMA, TOC Practitioners Alliance, and many more to name. Mr. Ravi has regularly shared his groundbreaking knowledge of managing cash constraint at the Tokyo International Conferences since 2006. I think it is a Theory of Constraints International Conference. In each of the consulting assignments, Mr. Ravi focuses heavily on the metrics and reviews processes and lives by Eli Goldrad's famous quote, measurements drive behaviors. Client teams admire him for providing practical solutions as well as forthrightness and transparent style of working. I think all of you would have read about The Goal, the very famous book on theory of constraints, which has been a Bible which changed the real kind of manufacturing practices in India and many companies, not just manufacturing. I think it was a kind of a wake-up call. I think all of us should have the book in the pillow. I'm sure Mr. Ravi will be talking on that. So I don't want to take much of your time with this introduction. I hand over the platform to Sri Ravi. Once again, sir, thank you so much for your valuable time. And we really thank you from our heart for accepting this invitation. And our special thanks to Mrs. Ira Lal for organizing this in a very, very short notice. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Parshuramji. You added quite a few things for me, but perhaps one thing which you may not know, I have never been accused of being politically correct or being diplomatic. I'm a very blunt person. I like to provoke, though I have not met any one of you beforehand, but I'm going to share a few things which many of you may find a little uncomfortable, so bear with it. So we start, how much time shall I say for the presentation, please? Could you just give me an idea?
Sir, we have planned for 45 minutes.
Okay, that's good enough. Now,
thank you, sir. And we'll have a 10 minutes Q&A, sir, finally, if possible.
Perfectly fine. Only thing is, if somebody has a question, please type in the chat box. I'd like to address as early as possible. One thing which I do not like is to keep WIP. WIP is not only in materials, it is also a question comes, it better be responded as early as possible. I don't like to keep it waiting. So I'll start with that. First question really is, Ira, are you sharing any presentation?
No, not right now. If you want, whenever you want to show something, I'll put it on.
Okay. So I would suggest you can put it on. No problem at all.
Okay, then I'll share it.
Yeah. But in the meantime, I can start with that. I'm asking a simple question. What is the goal of an organization? Goal, not goals, please. I would like some response on this. I'm just talking about the goal, not the goals, please. Anyone can respond. Prithvi, you can read in the chat box if anybody has and you can share that with me.
Yeah, profit.
Profit. Excellent.
Increase cash flow.
Increase cash flow. Anything else?
More or less profit.
Okay. So let me quickly put it as, what is the goal of a cricket team? Goal, singular goal.
Here you have to make slideshow. Win.
You are able to see it? Okay, you want it in full screen.
Yeah, full screen.
Okay.
So
To win
there's
the
a
match.
to win the match. Excellent. Now, all the players in the cricket team, should they have identical goal or not? Some response, please.
So, conference call.
I'm looking for some answers.
I mean conference. Yeah. Most of them responded yes.
Yes. Okay. If you agree that the goal of every team member in the cricket game is to win the match, or they should have identical goal. Similarly, whatever may be the goal of the company, whether to make profits or cash or anything else, I don't worry about it at this moment. Don't you agree that the top team, if not the entire company, should use exactly the same words and the measurement for the goal? Identical, not the slightest difference between the two people. Any response, please?
Yes.
Yes. But what are the chances that today, if you go and take the direct reportees of the CEO and ask them to put down in one line the goal, not the goals of the company, and you are likely to get near identical answers from the top 10, 20 people? What are the chances? Any response?
50% or less.
I'm doubtful even if you get 1%.
Less than
Please,
30%, 30%. Okay.
this is my experience. The salesperson will say my goal or my company's goal is to increase sales. A finance man, oh, some financial parameter. Another person will say something else. HR person, attrition rate, etc., etc., etc. But please understand, not that these are wrong numbers or wrong parameters, but they are the means, they are not the goal. That's what the difference I wanted to share. Is it okay with everyone? I'm saying you can choose whatever goal you want, but the top team must have identical parameter along its measurement. Are you with me? If anyone has a difference of opinion, please share with me. I'm not having too many slides. I'm going to keep it very conversational. Any responses?
Yes.
Yes. Prithvi, you can share with me.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Yes. Okay.
The
So,
response is coming most yes.
okay. So my request to you would be Japanese call us NATO. Any idea what is NATO? Mr. Parshuramji, you have worked in Toyota for long. Why do the Japanese call us NATO? Any idea?
Sir, that was is it the consensus?
No.
No, sorry,
NATO
I'm not.
stands. Okay, so you're not familiar with this term, so I will give you two answers. The first answer is Japanese call us Indians, no action, talk only.
Oh, okay.
And another client of mine, he shared another experience of this. He says no action, training only. And as you had shared that I worked for 21 long years on the shop floor with my own hands, I like action. So can I request all the members who are sitting here, see if the top team can have identical goal and its measurement. I don't care what it is. I will share my thoughts on that. But no matter what it is, it has to be the same for the top team. If you agree, please take this as a action point for yourself. Otherwise, all nice things are there. Trainings are always nice, but what is the end result? So with this, I'll move to the second one. Slide, Irashi, change the slide, please.
Yeah.
So we are saying first, all the team members must agree on the organizational goal and its measurement. And it should be unambiguous. Now, let me ask you simple things. We want to be world class. We want to be number one. Frankly, these are all nonsense words. I don't care. They're all empty words. I don't know who is going to be more number one than me. By what measurement? Somebody could say in sales, somebody could say in profits. I don't care. I think there is somebody who two speakers are on simultaneously, so I'm getting my own voice back.
Can you please mute, gentlemen?
Thank you. See, I'll just share one small thing from Toyota company only. In the year 2008, I'm talking about Toyota Motor Company, not in India, but Toyota Motor Company, Japan. Toyota Motor Company in Japan, in the last quarter of October, December 2008, it achieved two distinctions. One, it became the largest seller of vehicles in the world on that day, in that quarter. That was one distinction. It overtook General Motors. And it had another distinction, not very nice. It declared a loss in that quarter. All I'm trying to say, increasing sales is not a bad thing. But if it results in a loss after 40, 50 years, I'm not sure how good was it. It is not only Toyota. In fact, most companies today who are declaring loss, 20 years back, if they were in existence, they were making money. That's why they grew to this level today. They had less sales, but they had more money in the bank at that time. All I'm trying to say, please don't get focused on the means, go for the goal. Now comes the point. Some of you have used the word profit or cash. I'll explain. Let's say we'll make it simple. Please mute yourself. Now, many of us, we say our goal is world class, keeping our customer happy, and so on, keeping all stakeholders, satisfying all stakeholders. All these are high English words, means nothing. Unless you can specifically measure, how do we know we are improving or not improving? So no matter what parameter you choose, you have to have a measurable number which is unambiguous and cannot be fudged or manipulated. So let me explain. When we say we want to customer delight, is a very often word used, and it's the most abused word in reality. Most of us, we do not have good experience from our suppliers, even though the same suppliers also vouch, oh, our goal is for customer delight. It's totally nonsense. Let me prove it. In order to satisfy the customers, the necessary condition is you must have satisfied employees. For short term, even if you don't have satisfied employees, you can still keep the customer happy. But if your employees are not happy, you cannot satisfy your customers for long. I'm assuming everyone will agree. If somebody disagrees, please let me know. In the meantime, I will move further. If we want to keep our employees happy as a necessary condition for satisfying our customers, isn't it imperative that we make money? Because employees expect period after period more money, no matter what. Even in the COVID period, don't the employees expect, you might not be able to give increments, but they do still expect more money year after year after year. If that being the case, then satisfying customer means keeping the employees happy, and keeping employees happy only if you can make more and more money. Now, can we make more and more money if we don't keep our employers, if we don't keep our customers happy? There's no chance. Competition is increasing. Customer expectation is increasing day by day. What was delighting the customer today will tomorrow be just satisfying him, and day after he will not be satisfied with that also. So can we see that we need to keep on improving our customer delight in order to keep the employees happy, and in order to keep the employees happy, we have to make more and more money. Is this clear to everyone? If not, please ask me at this stage before I move to the next line. Prithvi, any response from anyone?
No, it says they're clear. You go ahead.
So I'm now saying, for the time being, for another half an hour, 45 minutes, let's assume making more and more money, I call it in short form, 4M, is also an index of customer and employee satisfaction. Ira, please go to the next slide. Okay. Now let's see making money. Now there's a lot of confusion on this. Most common parameter what people talk about is EBITDA, the worst possible parameter. I'm sure there'll be a few finance people also sitting here who day in and day out keep on talking about EBITDA. Typically, EBITDA is a parameter what the analysts use quite often. EBITDA per ton, EBITDA for the month, and so on, EBITDA percentage as a percentage of sales, etc., etc. But look, what is it? It says profit before interest, tax, depreciation, amortization, etc., etc. As if I'm taking Toyota India, if it talks about EBITDA, is Tata Motor going to pay its interest or depreciation or tax? No. So why talk about these parameters? Unless you are planning to sell your company as a multiple of EBITDA, it has no consequence, zero. Then we have another word called cash profit. Very interesting thing. If you ask any finance person in the world and says, what was your profit last year? And if he says our cash profit was XYZ, frankly, it means they did not make enough money, enough profit to cover the depreciation. So he would talk about cash profit. So be wary of these words when you hear. And then there are two other parameters called profit before tax, very obvious, and one is the profit after tax. Unfortunately, even the profit before tax, profit after tax, cash profit, EBITDA, they all can be manipulated or fudged. All, each one of them. It depends what is your accounting policies are. How are you evaluating your inventories? What is your method of revenue recognition, etc., etc. And there are many, many ways where the accountants will tell you how to fudge it. I can't use simpler words. So there is a little problem with all these words called profit because it can be fudged. In fact, there was one study done which said 90% of all owner-driven companies in India, sorry, not owner-driven, trading on Bombay Stock Exchange, they fudge their numbers. I cannot vouch for it, but I heard from in a presentation somewhere. Then there's some smart finance people would say, no, sir, profit is not the right parameter. We should use return on capital employed. It's return on investment in a very simple words. For the people who have never attended finance for non-finance, it is just the interest rate you are getting on your fixed deposit in the bank. You have invested money in your business, how much return you are getting approximately. How it is measured? Very simple. Profit divided by money invested. Unfortunately, if profit itself can be fudged, then ROC also has the same defect. But there's another parameter which is very difficult, if not impossible to fudge, is free cash flow or cash in the bank. What is called free cash flow? Cash in the bank. Why I'm using the word very difficult, because at least there was one person in the industry, software industry, I will not name it, from Hyderabad, who even fudged the cash in the bank. But there are not many instances. If you check your bank balance in the morning from your bank statement, no matter what accounting you do, that is unlikely to change. Do you agree with this? Any difference of opinion, please share.
Yes.
Okay. So please share if there's a difference of opinion. That's important, because then I can respond better.
Should we know? No?
It cannot be fudged for all practical purposes unless the bank has done some goof up. Whatever money it is showing in your account is the reality. Do you agree with all of it? Okay. Since I'm not getting any, let's say, opposition on that, I'm just moving. But please do let me know anytime you don't agree with me. No problem whatsoever. Ira, please move to the next slide. Dr. Goldratt had said long time back that measurements drive behavior. Now, the only purpose of any measurement in the world is to identify what action shall we take to improve our organizational goal, which is to make more and more money. Now, free cash flow is impacted by two parameters. One is profits, another is change in investment. Now, I'm going to share a little bit more detail than given in the slide. You can be making tons of money, but if you invested in a new plant, your cash will be decreased. Is this clear? But we don't invest in new plants and machinery or new products every day. But there's another parameter which also impacts free cash flow, is the working capital. Unfortunately, most organizations, even when they're in severe cash issues, they try to increase their sales and profits. In fact, in most cases, it is counterproductive. I'm going to explain you in a few minutes' time. Now, first I must explain what is working capital. For all practical purposes, the three main components of working capital are inventories, all. When I say inventory, it means RM, WIP, finished goods, spares, consumables, anything which is called inventory is one. Second is accounts receivable, the money what the customers owe us. They have yet not paid, you have sold them on credit. These add to the working capital. We have to reduce from here all the money what we have to pay to our vendors, the credit we have procured from them for buying the raw materials. So, for all practical purposes, working capital is inventories plus receivables less payables. Any questions at this moment? Please tell me correct. If anybody has a question. Prithvi, any answer?
One of that, your bank balance will not reflect check either deposited or issued, which have not yet cleared.
It is, you are right, but for all practical purposes, if you want to take into account, by all means, you're absolutely right. Checks deposited. In fact, the fact is, checks deposited is no guarantee that the money will be credited. Even a bank draft of mine issued by Punjab National Bank was dishonored. Bank draft. So unless the money gets credited, please don't take into account. I agree that if you had issued the checks, you will have to subtract that. I will agree on that. But for all practical purposes, it is not going to fluctuate very heavily. So I'll move on further. I'm going to explain this, that the cash in the bank will increase or decrease will be the summation of two parameters. One is what is profit after tax in a particular period of time. And in the same period, if your working capital has gone up, profit after tax or cash in the bank will reduce from profit after tax by the same amount. Is this clear to everyone? If people need a discussion on this, please let me know.
So I have one question.
Go ahead. Please
Yeah,
announce your name. This will help
I'm
me.
Jagdish. I'm Jagdish.
Yeah.
Even monthly salaries, will it be forming a part of working capital, or it is a separate thing?
For the time being, I've kept it separate.
Okay.
Strictly speaking, yes, but for all practical purposes, I'd kept it separate.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Because their quantum is so small as compared to other things, it dwarfs. I will show you in my next presentation. Unfortunately, there's another big problem. I'm using the word very, very carefully. It's not there in the slide. In most organizations, the topmost people, and I'm now going to use even the finance people, they're financially illiterate. Now, why do I say that's a very strong word? I said right in the beginning, I'm not going to be politically correct or being diplomatic. Large organization Enron, 1 month before it folded up its chairman, its CEO, and the CFO did not know that within 1 month they will run out of cash. They had no clue on their free cash flow. And check yourself. What is the date today? 11th August. 11 days have already passed by of last month. How many of us know, sitting here, who are in the top management, what was your free cash flow for the month of July? I can bet most of you will have no clue about it. If somebody has a clue, I really appreciate that person. But let me know if somebody knows reasonably accurately. I don't need precise data. What was your free cash flow for last month? Any response, please? Prithvi, would you help me if there's any response?
Still, there's no response.
Okay,
I think
I'll move
Amit
on.
Jain is got. Shall I? Amit, you could.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Amit, you can unmute yourself and ask the question. There's one more which says we monitor it twice a month.
I didn't ask that question. I simply asked one simple question. Do you know? If you don't know whether you monitor,
Yes.
I don't care. It's there in some report. But do you know it?
Rupa, can you unmute Amit
right?
Jain?
There is one answer stating that I know, right?
Yes.
Sorry?
Sir.
There one gentleman has replied that I know.
Yeah.
Excellent. I compliment that person, because how many people are there in our program right now? I can see 58. Out of that, 4 of us, let's say, are, other than the participants, out of 54, if one person knows something special about that, I would like to applaud. Can we give him a big hand to this gentleman or the lady? I do not know. I'm going to give it. May I ask that person to just share? I don't want the numbers. All I want their name, his name or her name, and the function they are working.
Sir, this is Amit Jain from Toyota. I work in the finance department.
Excellent. I really appreciate, because even in most financial CFOs, they also do not know. So I truly applaud you for this job. Excellent.
Thank you, sir.
Now, something more. Let us say I'm asking a question. If you increase your sales by 10% in 1 year, can we guarantee? I'm saying every month the sale will go up by 10%. Or let's say in 1 month, if we have increased the sales, we had a steady sales, and now we have increased sales for 1 month rather than 1 year. Just put that. Guess whether our cash in the bank will increase or decrease. That's the question I'm asking. Free cash flow whatever it was, will it go up or go down? That's the only question I'm asking. Make some guesses, please. I want these guesses.
In our company, free cash flow is the main financial parameter.
Okay.
Apart from operating profit since last
No,
20.
let's forget about that. Please don't respond anything what I have not asked. Don't add superfluous thing for me.
Okay.
I'm asking a simple question. I'm assuming I'm still talking to Amit Jain, correct?
Yeah.
Amit, if your sales in 1 month increases
Yes, sir.
by 10% in one particular month and stays constant thereafter, what will happen to free cash flow in the very first month? Will it go up or go down? That's the only question I'm asking. Please respond.
It should increase, sir.
Okay, fine. In all your case can be different. In all probability, you will be wrong. I'm going to show. Ira, please show the Excel sheet.
It all depends upon whether the sales is gone up because of capital investment or.
No bullshit like capital investment. I'm not talking about any increase in expenses also.
Yeah, I'm just
None.
sharing.
I'm saying, no, while she's sharing, I'm saying fixed expenses will not increase by 1 rupee. You have surplus capacity, you have just sold a little bit more, 10%. I'm going to now share. This is what I'm trying. Most companies are unaware or somehow they have not given adequate attention to managing working capital. And because of that, we get into serious trouble.
Can you see the Excel?
Ira, can you do one thing? I'm having
Yes.
some problem.
Yes, we can see.
You need to see. Are you able to see, please, or not?
Yeah,
We
we are
can
able
see.
to. Yeah, they're able to see.
Okay. So here is my first. I'm not using any numbers. Sorry, any what you call units. Monthly net sale. Assume it is 100 units today, or 100 crores, or whatever you can take. I'm also assuming 18% GST, so our monthly gross sales will become 118. Is this clear to everyone? Now, totally variable cost, I'm assuming this is that cost which goes up or down along with production or sales, like material cost, like packing cost, freight. I'm getting an echo, please mute yourself. Or it could be any other cost which linearly moves plus pretty close to sales or production up and down. So variable cost comes. Ira, can you do one thing? Can you hide column D, please?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay. So what we call contribution, net sales minus totally variable cost is 30, 100 minus 70. Approximately. You may call it contribution, we call it throughput. Our fixed expenses for the month are 20. Obviously, the profit before tax is 10, approximately. Is this clear? Amitji, is this clear to you?
Very clear, sir.
Now, I'm taking approximately, your income tax could be 20, 25. I'm not taking off any exact percentages, otherwise the calculations get confusing. I'm assuming tax at the rate of 30%. So 3 becomes the tax and profit after tax is 7. So far, so good. Ira, now please bring down so that we can look at the working capital. And it's possible for different companies, the working capital numbers might be very, very different than what I've written. But whatever I've seen in auto industry, receivables at the approximately 45 days.
Yeah.
Inventory.
Should I show the calculation?
No, not necessary. If everyone is clear, it's 1.5 months receivable of gross sales. Approximately. Most of us do give credit of 45 days, or we are able to collect the money only after 45 days. Is that assumption reasonably correct or very wrong?
No, perfect.
Okay, let me take inventories. I have taken approximately 3 months of inventories at RM cost or variable cost. Look at my variable cost is about 70% or 70 crores a month. Now I'm saying my RM, typically what I've seen is maybe about month and a half. These days it will be even more because of supply uncertainties. WIP typically, not necessarily in all companies, but many companies, about 15 days to 1 month. And FG is another 15 days to a month. Total, I've taken ballpark 3 months inventories. Approximately, if you can see, it is 2 times your net sales. Do you think this number is reasonably correct? That's all I'm looking for. Unless it's grossly wrong, please correct me.
For us, it is very different, sir. This is Amit here.
Yes, Toyota, I knew about it. I totally agree. You will be different. That's why you are Toyota. But most other companies, I know it very well. But for most other companies, this will be pretty. Any machine tool manufacturer here? Any electrical manufacturing company? Any other manufacturing company? Come on, I'm sure you have quite a few manufacturing companies here. It's not service companies. Are there no manufacturing companies here?
There are, sir. Trasta here.
So tell me whether the approximate, whatever numbers of working capital I've taken, is it anything atrociously wrong? If it is reasonably correct, I'll move on.
No, it's reasonably correct.
Thank you. I've also taken. Sorry, Vishwas
The response is yes.
Yes. Okay. Vishwas is said. Thank you very much. Ira, please take it a little further. I'm having some problem seeing because the toolbar comes here. Now, the vendor credit I have also taken at 45 days. If we are giving credit to our customers of 45 days, we are also giving our payments to our vendors for 45. But now it will be 45 days of purchase, not of sales. So which I would get, what is my variable cost? 70. So I have taken 1.5 months of 70. Is this clear to everyone? Now, the net working capital, approximately receivables plus inventories minus vendor credit, it comes to 282. Is this clear to everyone, please? What it indicates, you have 2.8 times your net working capital is 2.8 times that of your net monthly sale. Is this clear to everyone? If anybody has a question, please ask. Okay, I am assuming nobody.
Ravi
Now,
ji,
yeah, go ahead.
Sir, I've given you an answer.
Yeah.
Our inventory turns ratio minimum is 3, maximum is 5. So we maintain no more than about 6 days to 10 days of inventory. That was my response to your question.
I'm so glad. Mr. Ravi Chandar, which organization are you working, sir?
Praxair, Linde.
Oh, you are from Linde. Excellent. Now, when you say turnover of 3 to 5, is it on yearly basis or monthly?
No, it is not that. Actually, it is finished goods are much less.
I didn't say finished goods. I didn't care about finished goods. I'm talking about all inventories.
Because not all inventories is less than 30 days, sir.
Okay, maybe you have less than, possibly.
Ravi sir, this is Devesh Agarwal. I'm the immediate past president of the chamber. Our company is called Jason's Technologies.
Yes,
I'm who gave you that answer. I checked through our last month's inventory records. We had a sale of about 65,000 units, and at no point did our inventory cross 20,000. On average, it was maintained at about between 16 and 17,000. And I'm talking of RM, FG, WIP, all.
Fantastic. You are one of the rare companies. I've looked at very small and very large companies of Bombay Stock Exchange. My numbers, what I'm sharing, are lower than what is actually there. So irrespective, if you are doing, it's a great thing. Just follow this. In your case, you can work out yourself. It will be great. That's all I'm saying. So you are doing an excellent job. I compliment you. Now, let's look at it. Again, I'm getting an echo. Please mute yourself. There are two devices working very close by. That's why one gets an echo.
Mr. Prithvi, best is just do mute all, please. Mr. Prithvi, just mute everybody, except, of course, the speaker.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Okay, Ira, now you can do the unhide of the column D. Let's say we have increased the sale by 10%, and I'm saying, Amit ji, I'm not talking about increasing by investment. The last thing which I ever recommend to anyone is to increase investment. Never. In fact, never is wrong. Very rarely, if I can use that word. Let's say we are able to increase our sales by 10%. So you see, net sales has gone up by 10%, gross sales has gone up by 10%, variable cost has gone up by 10%, but the throughput has also gone up by 10%. But the operating expense are kept fixed at 20. I have not improved or increased even by 0.1%, because quite often I have enough capacity. If I could get more orders, I can just produce and sell it. Then comes profit before tax. It will zoom up by almost 30%. Just increasing 10% increase in sales has the potential to increase your profit by 30%, whether it's profit before tax or profit after tax. So far, so good. The problem comes down the level. Ira, please come down and take this up working capital.
Is it okay?
Yeah, now it's perfectly fine. Now, receivables will also shoot up. Inventories, if we don't change our inventory terms, whatever they were before, it will also go up. Vendor credit will also go up. But the net result is my working capital has also moved up from 282 to 310. In fact, what I can suggest to each one of you, to take up last 5 years, your net sales and your net working capital as on 31st March. So that we are talking about like-to-like period for the last 5-6 years. And see the ratio, does it change significantly or not? Most of the time, my observation is it's very static. Little bit up, little bit down. Net working capital, years after year. That's my experience. I'm not saying everyone will have the same experience, but check it out for yourself, because that's where the learning will happen. Now, let's go to free cash flow. Come down, please. Ira, additional profit after tax has increased by 2.1. How did we calculate? Previously, it was 7 crores per month. Now it is 9.1, 30% up. But the additional working capital has gone also by 10%, which is 28.2. So there is a one-time cash outflow of 28.2. Now, assuming you don't increase your sales subsequently, it remains at this static level of 110. Working capital will not increase from now onwards, but every month you will profit after tax will keep on, that will remain, it will add to the kitty. But to cover 28.2, it will take almost 14-15 months before you come to previous cash flow situation. In this particular case, the key parameter is that our net working capital was about 2.8 times monthly sales. Please check in your case how much it is. And net working capital, I'm not talking about finished goods. I'm talking about finished goods, raw material, WIP, receivables, minus payables. So what happens? Before you increase your sales, please look at it, what will happen to your working capital. often companies get into a problem because as they increase sales, the requirement of working capital also goes up. Many times the banks are too eager to give us a loan. And as Mr. Parsuram had said right in the beginning, when the going is good, when the banks are falling head over heels to give us the loans, we don't look at this. That in actually our loans are becoming more and more. Now, Ira, you can close this. If anybody has a question, I will keep it open. Otherwise, we'll go back to the other slide. If anybody has a question on these calculations. I'm assuming none. So go ahead and share the PowerPoint, please.
Yeah, can you see it?
Not yet. I hope it will come. Yes, come down.
Yes.
We can see now. Come down. Come down. Go to the next slide, please.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to share, that most companies either focus on sales or profits. Reality is no company gets close, no company who has declared loss. Companies close down when they run out of cash. Any question on this? This is a client of ours, Thomson Press. Last year, or no, this calendar year, on 18th February, they became debt-free. No debt, zero debt. I rang up Mr. Jasawala, he is the CEO there, executive director. So I said, Mr. Jasawala, congratulations. He said, for what? I said, today you are having zero debt. You are not drawing 1 rupee of your CC limit also. There is a surplus cash in your current account. And they, in any case, didn't have long-term loans. So he said, I'm really happy to know that. So I asked him, is it the first time you have become debt-free? So he told me that I'm asking him a wrong question. I said, what should I then have asked? He said, I've been here in the company for the last 14 years. You should have asked, did I ever dream that we will become debt-free? Now comes the importance of cash. How many companies declare that cash is their prime parameter to improve? Cash, more than profit or any other parameter. Ravi Chandraji asking a question or raising his hand.
So our company has been following free cash flow since last 20 years, 22 years.
Great, sir. Ravi Chandraji, you are the Linde company, if I am not wrong?
Yeah, Linde, Praxair earlier, it was Praxair. Praxair merged with Linde. So Praxair's policy is always free cash flow is one of the parameters. Apart from days sales outstanding.
Perfectly fine. You can measure anything else. I have no issue. So long your prime focus is on free cash flow, I'm so glad. May I, use your information? This I'm asking because when company says no, which measures free cash flow, I will like to recommend your company's name and check with you whether it's correct or not. Is it okay with you?
Yeah, it is okay. It is a global thing, sir. It can go to the website and see also.
No, perfectly fine. I'm appreciating it. All I'm saying, yours is one of the rare companies I've met in my life which tracks free cash flow as a prime measurement. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah.
Fantastic. But at the same time, how many other companies keep this as a prime measurement? Any response, please?
So I've got one fundamental question.
Yes, please.
So why do we require more cash than needed? See, whatever working capital is required, to that extent, we can have the cash. Remaining thing, having as a cash in the bank, it will not be fetching a good return.
This is the most wrong thing you have learnt in your life, sir. Jagdish ji, Please unmute yourself, because this is the most important question you have asked since I started. Why to keep cash? So then that means right in the beginning you did not agree what I said. Our goal is to make more and more money as measured by free cash flow. You did not agree with that. If you don't agree, then the entire thing is gone.
No, only as a cash,
No, I didn't say you keep it as a cash. You can put in fixed deposit, you can put it wherever you want, which you can encash at a short period of time. That's all.
Clear. Understood. Yeah. So which means a profit and more amount of money generated.
No, I will make you the most profitable company in the world right today, before 5:30. And you'll be bankrupt by 20th of September. I guarantee that, irrespective of the business you are in. Guaranteed. So please tell me the business you are in. What do you do? Manufacture, service? What do you do?
No, actually, I'm not from financial background.
I don't care. It doesn't matter. Tell me what you manufacture.
A company called Bosch. I'm working for that.
Okay, Myco Bosch.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I've worked long time with this. In fact, my old friend, Lakshmi Narayan.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I bought machines also from Myco.
Yeah.
And okay, let me ask you, you give me a fuel injection pump, rejected pump. You would have some rejected fuel injection pump, nozzle, delivery valve, any of your products. You have any rejected piece lying with you?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. I will buy for $1 trillion. How much? $1 trillion. I'm going to buy. I'm not going to ask you for some credit terms. No company in the world, no company in the entire world has $1 trillion sale, not even Bosch worldwide. Do you agree?
Yes.
So if I buy a small rejected fuel injection pump for $1 trillion, your profits will be close to $1 trillion.
Yes.
Do you agree?
Yes.
Now comes the entire thing. I've taken some credit period from them for you. But you have to pay 18% GST on this. Do you know this?
Yes.
Now this GST you have to pay by 20th of next month. 20th September, you have to pay this GST. Are you clear?
Yes.
Irrespective whether I paid you or not. Now what will happen? What is 18% of $1 trillion? Please tell me.
So that is somewhere around $18 billion.
No, $180 billion.
180
Your
billion.
company may not have even this as a sale. I'm talking about globally. Government of India will stop everything else and come after you. Your $1 trillion profit is not going to help, because by the time I'll declare bankruptcy also, don't worry. But Government of India will be after you, giving you asking for $180 billion cash. Are you clear?
Yes.
See, my point of this atrocious example was, profit is a calculation which can be fudged. Even how it is to be fudged, don't worry, even if you're not a finance man. It is the way we evaluate the inventories. There are different methods of valuation of inventories. Amit can guide you on that. So all I'm trying to in fact, let me give a joke. You know what is the definition of a good accountant? When he's asked, what is the profit this year? He'll ask the decision maker, what did you want it to be? So, though that's a joke, but it's a reality. We can discuss another time on those things. And I'm talking all legitimately. I'm not talking of any illegitimacy here. All legal stuff. Anything which can be fudged, which can be interpreted differently, can lead you to wrong decisions. Do you agree, Jagdish ji?
Yes, understood. Yeah.
Thank you. Ira, go to the next chair. Now, in this company, Naveen Jindal Steel and Power, in the year 2015, we started. its sales was, monthly sale was 1,000 crore, 1,000 crore. And its gross working capital is inventories plus receivables without reducing the payables. It has huge payables to be paid. Vendors were threatening not to pay, supply the material unless you pay. So in the first year, we reduced gross working capital, inventories and receivables by 2,500 crore. It helped us overcome some of the issues on losses we are having and some investment which was already underway. So next year, we did another 1,100 crores reduction. So in 2 years' time, our sales was hardly increased by 2%. It did not increase more than 2%. We kept it deliberately at 1,000 close by. But we reduced working capital by 3,600 crores. Today, the monthly sale is about 4,000 crores. And our gross working capital, which used to be 195 days, today it is about 25, 26 days. Sales has gone by 4 times. Receivables and inventories have come down by 7, 8 times. Before you expand, before you increase sales, bring your bloated working capital under control. That's the message I'm giving. And I want, last week, can you, Ira, show the next, in one of our group messages, Ira, can you just read it for everyone?
Yes, I'll just read it out. I just wanted to express my deepest gratitude to you for your untiring efforts that saved JSPL and me, for which we at JSPL will always be indebted to you. You still keep contributing even more than any owner can. A big thanks to you.
Now, all I'm trying to say, basically, my purpose was only one of sharing these two. We have done many of them. That whatever I'm saying, it's not theory. I don't like to use too much theory part of it. I used to work on the shop floor. I like practical results which cannot be fudged. This year, already 25,000 crore, we have reduced the loans from the banks. And by this end of this financial year, hopefully we'll become totally debt free. Another 15,000 crore, we will repay the banks. So Ira, just share the last slide. I'm open for questions. So thank you very much for a patient listening. I am open to all questions. Some questions I may not be able to respond, but I will tell you honestly, if I know the answer, I will tell you my frank opinion. And if I don't know the answer, then also I'll tell you I do not know. Open for all questions.
So,
Prithvi, are there any questions?
I've got a point to be shared and also a question. I'm Jagdish.
Yes,
so
sir.
I understood the importance, working capital as it becomes lesser and lesser, more will be the cash generation possibility. It will be always favoring the cash generation in the organization. How much you do usually recommend the working capital or that inventory turns, usually it is called? So which are the best companies in that, and
Okay.
how to?
So I will tell you something. Don't forget the word best practice. They are nonsense. I'll give you the example. Long time back in 1989, I was in Aisha's Parvanu unit, and we had a collaboration with Mitsubishi of Japan, and we were implementing JIT, the best practices. Now, unfortunately, we could not implement JIT. When we were telling our workers, why can't you do, look in the Japan, this is happening, guess what was the response? They said, sir, that is Japan, give us the Japanese facility, then you talk about it. Now, the moment you talk about best practices, anytime, people reject straight away. So we use a very different method. I'm getting some disturbance. Can somebody mute yourself? Somebody is moving around. Some loose connection somewhere. So Jagdish ji, I have a simple method, better than before. Every period, you should try to improve then better than your past performance. That's all. I don't know what is the ultimate. I don't know. But no matter what you have done, I'm not comparing you to anybody else in the world. I'm comparing you to yourself. Now tell me one person in anywhere in the world who will say, I don't want to improve. He can or she can say, I don't know how to improve. But tell me a person in your organization, anywhere in the world, who will say, I don't want to improve. So we have a complete methodology we call B2B. B2B stands for better than before. That's all. Business, not business to business, but better than before. No matter what you have done, and we use a simple parameter, last 13 weeks moving average. Every week, you have to be slightly better than last 13 weeks moving average. Please aim for it. That's all. Our experience is people achieve very close to the target they own. If they own the target, they generally come very close to that. Jagdish ji, have I responded to your question properly?
Yes, very clearly understood.
Thank you, sir.
Daily basis we'll have to keep on reducing, and this will fetch us a big advantage like what you shared for Jindal. So it has been 4,000 crores turnover and with less than 25 days of working capital. Good.
Any other question, please?
Can I make a question, sir? Trasta.
Yes, sir. Dr. Jacob Krasta?
Yes,
okay.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, sir.
Sir, I belong to MSME fraternity.
Okay.
And you know very well that the payment for
Yes.
any MSME
Yes.
is delayed more than 120, 180 days.
I'm fully aware.
Especially from the state government or central government supply, including defense.
Yes,
and railways. And especially as a working capital, banks sanction only say 90 days bill discounting.
Yes.
And even if you go for a e-trade, which is available now, whereas no government department is registered with the e-trade. So we don't get the payment in e-trade. Whereas other companies who are medium and large scale industry, those are registered with the e-trade, we get the payment within 3 to 4 days time.
Yes.
Whereas what we get stuck is supplies to state government and central government.
Thank you.
So since you are an expert in the cash flow, what is your suggestion on how to get rid of it?
Okay. Can you tell me your product line, please?
So I am in the capital goods on the environmental simulation products. I supply 60% to the defense, and my payment comes 180 days.
So hold. Now you have said it. Now please allow me to ask the question.
Yeah.
Are these products, whatever you are producing, are there customers outside defense and government? That's all. In the world. I'm not talking of India.
Yeah, they are import substitute items.
I don't care. All I'm saying, you have, what is your world market share? World market, I'm not talking of domestic share. Is it more than 1%, less than 1%? Plus, tell me that.
No, somewhere around 1%.
Even if you're saying 1%, that's hell of a lot. Please check very carefully. Even if you're 0.1%, you can't be an SME in that case.
No, especially in the product what we
I don't care. I don't care.
I don't care. We are manufacturing.
I don't care. I don't care. What is your, what was your turnover last year?
50 crores.
So if you're 1%, that means the total consumption of these goods and services is only 5,000 crores?
Yes.
I'm doubtful. I'm
Because
doubtful.
these are all capital-oriented industries.
I understand, Baba. I've worked in my life in capital goods. Don't keep on repeating the capital goods again and again. Yes, I understand. Okay, even if it is 5,000 crores, you are just about 1%. Now, which means you are selling only 25 crores to government.
Yes.
Correct? There is 4,975 crores worth of customers who are not buying from you, or
Yes.
4,950. Correct?
Yeah.
If I were you, I'll stop selling to the government. That's all. Nothing else.
No, that's again a $1 billion question, because
No, it's not. It's not.
When
Because
you have because we have defense requirement is highest here in.
Stop here. Just because you don't know how to get more customers, that does not mean it is not a possibility. That's all. Choice is yours. Either you can keep on crying, I'm not getting, or find a way to do something differently. That's all. I've done it enough. It's possible. It's tough. It's not easy. It will take some effort to do that. I will not deny that also.
So, right, so my question is not that. I'm talking about if the supplier payment comes 180 days.
No.
Is there any way? We can come out?
No, the best way is not to accept such customer. That's it. Nothing else. Nothing else.
Then we are in a declining mode.
Who cares? Who cares? Once again, the problem with you right now, I can see that you are talking about sales and profits. You are not talking about cash. First, decide the goal. Is sales your goal? Is profit your goal, or cash your goal? Please define that first. You are not agreeing on that. That's the problem. That's why I started with what is the goal of your organization. That is the basic problem. We believe our goal is growth in what? Growth in bank debt? Is that what you call growth? Growth should be how much money you are depositing in your bank, not the other way around. Incidentally, find an intermediary, somebody who can advance you the money. You sell your receivables to him. Find somebody. That's all. How much is your pure variable cost into what you sell to the defense and government? Is it more than 50%, less than 50%?
Around 50%.
Around. Okay, give somebody 10, 20, 30%. He says, you give me the money and now you collect the receivable from the government. My job is over. It's called factoring, by the way. But once again, factoring is to get over the temporary problem. It is getting the Seridon, the painkiller. The real problem is you are choosing wrong customers. You are agreeing with the wrong payment terms. Nobody forced a gun on your neck that you have to supply to defense and government. Nobody forces you. It was your free will. You may not like my answer. I agree.
No, it is not the liking. I am listening to you.
No, sir. Doctor, sir, my point is often I will tell you straight from the heart what I think is you are to do. It's painful. I know that. Even at this age, I still don't like to have an injection. It's painful, while I know it's good for my good. I don't know whether I've been able to respond to your question adequately.
Yeah.
Anyone else after this? Or it's enough for everyone to get a sense of what can happen on the answer?
Sir, I am Murli here.
Yeah, Murli.
In this pandemic times, each and every organization is focusing on conserving cash.
Correct.
And enhancing cash. Everybody.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
all small, medium, big, large enterprises.
Yes.
Now, if everyone focuses on enhancing cash,
Yes.
and actually cash does not come in because there is a decline in sales or for some other reason. Now, how do you overcome that?
I think honestly, you did not hear me properly. You don't worry about the world part of it. Are you a large company? Which company do you work for, sir?
I work for a Japanese company.
Now, are you talking of a Japan? Are you talking of a particular company owned by the Japanese? That's all I want to know.
A company owned by Japanese.
Okay. Are you facing cash issues?
Answer is no.
Okay. Are you excellent? Now my response is, you have tons of cash, correct?
I won't say
Yes.
tons of cash, but adequate cash.
Okay. Are you paying your vendors absolutely on time? Yes or no?
Yes.
Do you measure it, whether there are any vendor overdues?
Yes, we do measure monthly basis.
How much was it last time? At the end of 31st July, what was it? Please tell me.
We pay our vendors on time, and the vendors' numbers keep changing based on purchases. And purchases depend on the sales bookings.
No, hold.
As simple as that.
Hold. Okay, I'm assuming you're paying them on time. Am I right?
Absolutely right.
Are there some vendors who are small manufacturers? Do you buy
Yes.
from MSME?
We do buy. We pay them on time, again, within 45 days.
Why you have got cash? Why don't you reduce it to 30 days to help them, so that they in turn you are increasing the cash flow in the system? Why don't you do that?
We do that. We go by payment terms. We go by terms.
No.
If the terms are 25 days or immediate, we go by that.
No. I'm not saying 45 days. Please pay them in 7 days if you have enough money. Why not? Help them.
We do that sometimes.
Why not? Why sometimes? Let me give you a quote which I had mentioned in November 2008 at Las Vegas when the world was crying under cash. You cannot live in an island of happiness surrounded by a sea of misery. If all around you there's a huge cash issue, you have surplus cash or adequate cash, can you part a little bit with your other stakeholders? Vendors are also your stakeholders. Help them, so that if they close down, you will be more in trouble. It's in your interest that they don't have a shortage of cash. Do you agree, Murli?
Yeah, agree.
Please do so.
We do that, in spite of
Fine. So if you're doing so, then excellent. Then what's your question? I don't want to answer a theoretical question. What will happen if everyone goes? I will tell you that also. I don't think so we'll have the time for that. You can interact separately with me. I'll be very happy to interact with any one of you separately. One-on-one, email, phone call, no problem. I will respond to each and every question. If I have the answer, I will tell you. If I don't have the answer, I will tell you, sorry, I don't know the answer. Anything else? Or shall we? Because we are taking 1.5 hours from the time we started. Parsuramji?
Sir, no, thank you so much. I think a wonderful session. In fact, we would love to have a more longer session. I was just happily listening and learning so many things from your session. But in Japanese, we say, one is better than zero. I used to, the power of Kaizen. And
yes.
Always we say, you improve and stabilize, then improve. Many times we improve 10 steps, we fall down 25 steps. That falling down 25 steps is a work in progress or whatever, working capital, damage due to, the people don't study that. I immediately was able to collaborate and see, the numbers, we make a lot of mistakes. And financial engineering is what I like that word. The CFOs try to use the financial engineering and, tweak the kind of numbers. Sir, today was really back to basics, which is, as you rightly said, it's common sense, mostly uncommon. I think the basic number, what as CFOs or CEOs or any kind of top management, I think today that has been the biggest challenge, sir. You are absolutely right. In fact, many of the organizations are working in complete darkness. I always used to wonder, because I worked in Toyota for the last 25 years. We focus on smallest improvements for saving 1 second cycle time. You know, when I joined Toyota, I used to think, why this kind of focus is happening for that? Because that effect is perennial. And the builds of blocks that you built, as you rightly said, don't compare with anybody. I'm better than yesterday, and tomorrow I'm better than the previous day. I think that philosophy, what you talked about, managing the cash, has been a real eye opener, sir. In fact, great. I don't know what to say. You have opened the eyes of several people, and it has been one of probably the most value-adding sessions. I'm sure Bangalore Chambers. As you rightly said, medicines are always painful, but I think it's very important that you should realize the power of medicines. So today's you have given so many, I don't know what to say. I think each one of your word, I can say that it's a Bible, because as a hardcore manufacturing person, I also understand, how important it is that inventory. When Amit talked, Amit is my organization. Amit is the CFO of my organization. In fact, all of us have a daily, every week we have a report of the, working cash flow and, the active cash flow or the dynamic cash flow. So I think we understand, sir, the importance of whatever you said. And incidentally, the person who said that the inventory is less, Mr. Devesh Agarwal, he is also one of our suppliers, key suppliers actually.
Excellent.
So all our systems have been, when you wanted to ask him, I think, the companies that practice this kind of systems, definitely we have been able to see the kind of numbers, whatever you talked about. In fact, we talk about hourly inventory. In fact, make daily, sell daily, make hourly, sell hourly. There's a kind of, though it is, sometimes I say JIT, in India it's always a shit, somehow in time. It doesn't happen, but the key point, what you said is, I think the working capital and the impact on the final, the bank balance, I think the money in hand. I think definitely, sir, today has been an eye-opener for most of us. And I'm sure this session will be remembered for a long time. And I'm sure our members will have several doubts. And definitely they will come back to you.
Most welcome. I have no issue whatsoever.
And sir, really appreciate the kind of sincerity, the frankness and transparency. I think, and commitment to your session today. I think you talked so openly, and hats off to you, sir. I know words.
Honored. And just one thing, I have no interest in disrespecting anyone, but in case inadvertently, if I have hurt anyone, my apologies.
We always talked about the issues, not the person, which we always say that, definitely your spirit we could understand. And sir, hats off to you, really, the kind of fundamentals you brought in. I'm sure many people would be fascinated to, learn from you more and more. And what you talked exactly, sir, is a common sense, is a 8th standard mathematics. But the kind of number what you showed, I think has been an eye-opener, because many times even CEOs miss these basics. And I'm sure, sir, this session will go in a long, long way to remember. And I'm sure the value add is very important. We hope that companies make the advantage of this and come back to you. And when I look at the statement from the great man, Mr. Jindal, I think he was so humble and he openly admitted the kind of achievements in the organization. I can imagine the kind of impact you have brought in several corporates where you have worked. And we are very grateful to you, sir, for today's session. And I know that what you have shared with us is the tip of the iceberg. And you are a walking encyclopedia. So I'm sure there is a lot of ways to connect with you. And I hope that we keep connected. Once again, I thank Hiralalji for today's event. I know
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Sure, one breakthrough session like this will make a big difference. I think Swami Vivekananda said, give me one person who is pure, I'll change the rest of the world. That is the kind of breakthrough that today Raviji has brought in for all the industries. Sir, with your permission, we would like to put this in our website also, your session.
Please put it. Please put it. I have no issue whatsoever.
Thank you, sir. For the benefit
Share
of
it.
members.
Share it widely. Share it widely. I have no problem. I don't want to keep any knowledge, whatever I have with me. More I share, more I get. Period.
For 850 members, I'm sure each one of them, as president, I would like them to go through a session. It could be a great wake-up call. And once again, many thanks to you. No words from the bottom of my heart. And Prithvi, can you do the small felicitation as a part of our?
Sure, sir. Sure, sir. We'll do it, sir.
Thank
So on behalf of the Bangalore Chamber of Industry and Commerce and the office bearers of BCSE, we would like to do a small virtual felicitation, sir, and then we'll hand it over this memento to your office or to your residence.
Thank you. I'm honored. Thanks.
So to conclude, shall we have a national anthem played, sir? Present, sir?
Yes, yes, please.
Yeah, we'll have a national anthem, please.
जनगणमन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उज्जल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगल दायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Once again, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Connected, sir.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thank you so much.